Hey everyone, what up? Mad Kaiser here. And man, was this month just awesome for games. Just so many great announcements here and there for gamers, especially JRPG fans, and just exciting game releases, and just banger after banger with stuff from the State of Play to the Xbox Bethesda Showcase, to some extent, but not really, the Summer Game Fest and the Nintendo Direct Mini. But of course, we're at the last day of June, and what way to end it is with more on the new Star Ocean game. Now, Star Ocean: The Divine Force, the sixth game in the main series, did of course got announced way back last year at the State of Play, which by the way sucked. And people were very surprised by it since after the reception and the sales for the last game that came before it, that being Star Ocean 5 Integrity and Faithlessness, people were assuming that the series would have dead. Not help the fact that the mobile game was also dead, so yeah, it's a big surprise. And honestly, it actually did look promising, somewhat. Mainly just through the character models and the frame rate, not leaving a good impression. But everything else, from the combat to exploring what looks like an open world by flying, as well as giving some good Xenoblade vibes to it, is just, yeah, it looks promising. Now, of course, they were giving us an update somewhere in spring, but unfortunately they moved it to late June because they need more time. And honestly, they gave us a special Star Ocean stream last night, and honestly, I think it was well worth it. And honestly, from what I'm hearing, things are getting a bit more positive, but still positive. So the things they showed was like 3 different trailers. One showing the opening movie with 8 minutes and 3 seconds of one of the main protagonists' side, being Raymond, and others being the main mission report, which would show a bit info on the story, the characters, and the gameplay, as well as lastly a release date trailer. So firstly, the opening movie, which looked pretty good. So it's pretty much where Raymond is this leader of a merchant ship called the Aegis, and he has crew members like Chloe and Elena. But all goes wrong when a Federation ship attacks them, forcing them to abandon ship and escape via the escape pods, with Raymond and Chloe being close to each other and about to crash land on this undeveloped planet in the ASTER region, ASTER Galaxy. And overall, it looks promising. And now, as for the main mission report, so it gave us a little bit more on the characters and who they're voiced by, especially with the English dub. So Raymond is voiced by Mark Whitten, who you may know as Sephiroth from Fire Emblem Three Houses, as well as Shiden from Scarlet Nexus. We also have Letitia, voiced by Danielle Judovitz. I mainly know her as stuff like Batgirl from the 2004 Batman show, as well as Shadowcat from Wolverine and the X-Men. Loved those shows, by the way, as a kid. As well, we got Elena, best girl Elena, who's very pretty. She's beautiful, best girl. And honestly, she's voiced by, Erika Lindbeck, Shion from Tales of Arise, Jesse from Final Fantasy VII Remake, and just, of course, Futaba from Persona 5, and many more, but just wow. We also got this guy called Albert, who's voiced by Max Millman. You may know him as the guy who's Ryuji from Persona 5, as well as Red 13 from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Then we got Nina, voiced by Suzy Yang. People would probably know her as Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII Remake, as well as Eula from Genshin Impact. And then we got the last one called Midas, who's voiced by Keith Silverstein, which I'm pretty sure Genshin Impact fans know as Zhongli. Is that what he's saying? Is that how you say it? Zhongli? I'm pretty sure I'm probably butchering that. Sorry, Genshin Impact fans on this channel. As well as Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, that's how they say it. And overall, it's basically about Raymond and his team crash landing on this underdeveloped planet called ASTER, where Letitia is trying to, improve, trying to fix her country, let alone her own planet, as the kingdom is underdeveloped, but it's also just have been causing chaos all of a sudden. I assume that there's going to be some kind of war going on, but that's enough about the story bits. In terms of combat, I just say that compared to what I've seen from the last Ocean games, this one looks like it is truly the best one, at least from what I see. So as such, Star Ocean what Star Ocean will have is two separate sides of the story, which again being Raymond and Letitia, and you get to pick as either one of them. It will have a split story similar to what Scarlet Nexus did with Yuito and Kasane, Tales of Exilia with Jude and Mila, and of course Star Ocean, the second story, also known as Second Evolution, with Claude and Reina, which by the way should come to the West. I mean, the PSP version exists, but there's a PS4 version, and it hasn't come to the West really, even though a localization exists. What the heck, Tri-Ace? A bit off topic on there. Anyway, so yeah, with this game, it's going back to the 4 parties, where I believe in the last game it had had more than 6 characters. Which, looking at from what I've seen of both Integrity and Faithlessness and this game, I think having 4 characters in a party is more preferable. And as such, it's going to be a seamless transition, which was in Integrity and Faithlessness, but hopefully from it the camera isn't too bad from what I've seen overall. And they're going to have stuff introducing stuff like AP, which I think is action points instead of the MP, the magic points, which was standard for a lot of Square Enix JRPGs, which is basically what you use to do arts. And if you do specific actions, AP will increase over time temporarily, which is nice. And there's also stuff like the blind side mechanic returning from Star Ocean for the Last Hope, which is what I'm currently playing, and I'm actually just enjoying it, honestly. Personally, as well as there's also a cool stop mode, which lets you stop, I think pause the battle kinda, and gives you time to switch actors and create new strategies and target enemies. Almost something I guess did Final Fantasy 15 have the wait mode or something? I don't know about it. It's basically just a pause button, but yeah. Let's see. As well as that, there's also the Duma, which is basically this flying robot thing which will help you fly. And it looks like you can not only just fly doing exploration, but you can also do flying doing combats, which is pretty cool, honestly. There's also, of course, the chain combos, which lets you assign different arts. It's special arts to do, combos. And each of them are each of the characters are very varied. Raymond being the sword user, using a great sword. Letitia being a dual wielder, using 2 swords. Albert using chakrams and some magic. As well as Elena using multiple different weapons. Oh my god, look at her go, a whip and a scythe. Oh my god, she's packing so good. There's Nina, who looks like is going to be a healer, and she is, and probably do some magic, maybe. as well as Midas, who also is doing some magic as well. Like, I do think from what they said, like, Raymond is more for like, Raymond's side is more focused on like sci-fi stuff with his team, while Elena is more on the fantasy. Like, this is a whole sci-fi meets fantasy kind of thing, which is what the series is mainly known for. Like, it's a mix of like the science fiction meets fantasy, and that's a thing they have for the whole series. Even though it's more science oriented, there's a little bit of like fantasy with it. And honestly, yeah, the gameplay just looks fun. It looks fun. I think it looks like a step up from the last games, and I do hope it delivers very well. Like, it does very look promising, and from what I heard of the music, it looks pretty good. The voice acting looks not pretty good as well, though. I mean, the voice acting I heard is pretty good, even though a bit of the lip syncing is a bit off, but mainly that's due to character models. And speaking of which, I think some of the other character models like Elena, Letitia, Nina, Albert look very good actually. But Raymond but Midas is alright, I assume. I find. And as for Raymond, yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'll probably like you as a character, but yeah, just not with the design. It's really a shame that sometimes the art is better than the in-game models. But that's a thing that The Last Hope and Integrity Favors had, so I shouldn't be too fussed about it. Especially with Edge. Poor Edge. But yeah, overall this game looks very promising. Like, given that this is coming after Integrity and Faithlessness, there's a lot of writing on this wall. And also there's a release date. The release date trailer looked great as usual, and it's coming on 27th of October, and it's pretty much coming out the same month as Forspoken, which is pretty ballsy to have like a big sort of Square IP which was made by the Final Fantasy 15 team. Like, yeah, that's a bit ballsy to have that, as well as even Nier Automata on the Switch coming there. So it really depends on which one's more interesting. But to be honest, from what I've seen, Star Ocean 6 does look more promising than Forspoken in my opinion. So yeah, there's a lot of writing as well to hopefully be good and bring the Star Ocean series back on the map. As this game, like, it's one of those JRPGs that's more into the sci-fi thing with a little bit of fantasy, opposed to many other series, because there hasn't been that much, hasn't been. I mean, there's your Phantasy Star, there's your Xenoblade kind of thing, and there's probably a few more that I'm missing, but yeah, it's mainly just Star Ocean. Here's hoping that Star Ocean 6 delivers. As such, it's coming on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam. No Epic Game Store bullcrap. As for Switch, well, hope you go Pro, and maybe you can run it? I don't know. But yeah, overall, I'd say Star Ocean 6 looks pretty good, and I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Like, I'm gonna spend my time, like, continuing with The Last Hope, and if it all goes well, I might have time to do Star Ocean till the end of time. Hopefully, if I can get those in that before the new one, that would be great. But yeah, Star Ocean 6. So anyway guys, that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Star Ocean the Divine Force? Who are you probably going to start with? Raymond or Letitia? And who's your favorite character shown this far? Let me know down in the comments below. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching. So punch that like button, drop down a comment, and click that subscribe button if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next video. Mad Kaiser, out.